Good day, everyone. My name is Joe Wetstead. I'm Vice President of Sales and Marketing for accesso ShoWare. I want to thank you for joining us today for the second webinar of our summer webinar series. Today's webinar will introduce you to our new Streamlined and guest checkout functionality. I'm joined in presenting to you today by Wendy Inez. Wendy is a sales director out of our Los Angeles office. Today's webinar will provide you with an understanding of accesso ShoWare's Streamlined and guest checkout functionality. We will also review some interesting statistics on cart abandonment and how cart abandonment affects your business. If you have any questions during the webinar, please use the question box in your GoToMeeting console. Our webinar organizer, Katie, will collect them, and then we'll address all questions following the presentation. So let's get started. At accesso, we believe technology has the power to redefine the guest experience. Everything we do starts with thinking about the guest experience first, which allows us to help simplify operations, improve guest satisfaction, and drive growth for our clients. Our product team's always looking for ways to help you build loyal customers and maximize ticket sales. And we're excited to show you our new features, which we'll get to in a little bit. But first, we'd like to share some statistics about today's e-commerce landscape. Cart abandonment statistics are shocking. The statistics are staggering, enlightening, and compelling. 80% of the population online has purchased something via the internet. Online sales continue to grow at a staggering rate of about 15% each year, and that's for the past 6 years, which far outpaces the 1% average growth for all retail sales. We know from converting customers from antiquated online purchase experiences that dramatic increases can occur. For instance, Lincoln Center of Colorado experienced an increase from 10% to 40% of sales occurring online in the first 6 months with accesso ShoWare. We also need to keep front of mind that mobile is an online sales channel. It already accounts for 30% of all e-commerce sales. And the current growth in mobile year over year is greater than 150% for all accesso ShoWare clients. Jeff Bezos from Amazon states that over the last 12 months, more than $1 billion worth of merchandise has been purchased via mobile, and that number will likely triple in the next 12 months. Reducing cart abandonment is going to help us all increase our bottom line. It's going to work. As you will learn today, the key factors in eliminating abandonment are streamlined checkout process and a guest checkout option that is responsive in its design, and of course it needs to always be fast. 18 billion. This is probably the most staggering statistic of all. 18 billion is lost annually because of cart abandonment. We've spoken with customers a lot over the years about the importance of being there or being ready when someone is ready to buy. When the buyer is in the moment, if they become frustrated with the process and decide to wait till later, the chance to convert that buyer drops dramatically. Anything can happen between now and when the next opportunity to buy presents itself. Here are a few usability factors contributing to that 18 billion loss. It's all about expectations. 40% go to a competitor. For our industry, this can be translated to they pick up the phone and call the call center, they go to the box office, and worst case, they don't go, or decide to wait till day of show, and 100 things can come up between now and then. Again, we want to monopolize on being there and having the experience, converting the sale when the buyer's in the moment. 47% of users expect a page to load in 2 seconds. 64% of smartphone users expect a page to load within 4 seconds. And 27% of cart abandoners leave because of time constraints. If pages are loading too slow, your abandonment rate goes up. Page load speed in any online purchase flow is paramount. It's not something you necessarily experience visually when you're looking at a system, and many times it's underrated in the evaluation of a platform, but remember, slow must always go. Let's finish my part of the presentation today with a few lighter side facts. The most cart abandonment happens between 8 and 9 p.m. Maybe because that's when most online shopping occurs. Maybe it's a bad TV night, kids get put to bed about that time, and that's when the shopping's happening. So from 8 to 9, that's when most cart abandonment occurs. Most people abandon their cart on Thursday. Maybe they're just looking on Thursday, waiting for that paycheck to hit on Friday. The point is, 73% of companies have no idea why cart abandonment occurs, but hopefully after today's presentation, you're all excluded from the 73%. If you want to be hyped about abandonment in the purchase process, I want to highlight that the accesso ShoWare solution supports and is fully integrated with Google Analytics and Tag Manager. If you want to be in the know on cart abandonment, talk with your customer service manager about tracking capabilities with Google Analytics and Tag Manager. At this point, I want to hand things over to Wendy. Wendy, it's all yours.
Thank you, Joe. Hi, everyone. I'm Wendy. Quick disclaimer, kind of on the tail end of a summer cold, so please excuse the raspy voice. I promise I won't do any singing today. We'll just keep that. Maybe we'll leave that to Joe today. He can do the singing. So as your ticketing partner, it's really important for us to know why patrons might bail out of a purchase. Looking at the research for abandonment across all different kinds of e-commerce businesses led us to boil it down to these top 5 reasons. First is an overly complicated checkout process. We recognize there was room for improvement here as the current iteration has 5 screens from login to confirmation. So we'll see a big improvement on that front with Streamlined checkout. I'm looking forward to showing it to you. Secondly, people drop off because they mentally committed to a certain ticket price and then get hit with fees that they didn't expect. Fees that bump up the final cost, and now the patrons start to rethink their purchase. There are a number of strategies that organizations can employ to combat this, but one of the simplest is the concept of all-in pricing. When you employ this feature, the price that the patron sees first is the final price. Even from the moment they see a seat map, the price they see is all in, so there's no sticker shock when they get to the cart. This is a feature that's separate from enhanced checkout, but it's a great way to increase transactions and reduce that cart abandonment. Third is about making the patron comfortable that they're transacting safely, that they're transacting with a reputable company under secure conditions, where they can see the VeriSign logo, where they can see a secure S in the HTTPS in the URL, and therefore there's no hesitancy about completing that purchase. This next point on cart abandonment is related to limiting a patron's payment options. Accesso supports not only all major credit cards at your discretion, of course, but also supports the entry and validation of gift cards online through our Value Tech partnership. If you're not currently utilizing gift cards, I certainly would encourage you to talk with your customer service manager about this opportunity. It gives your patrons another online payment form that you ultimately control. So this last point is a big one. This is about the requirement to register, create an account and password, and then log in to purchase. And according to Kissmetrics, over 68% of online shoppers will abandon their shopping cart if they have to create a new account. So don't force them to create an account. Instead, consider guest checkout. Or here's a common scenario. A patron isn't quite sure if they have an account, or they think they do, but they can't remember their password, and they don't want to go through password recovery. They just want to buy their tickets. They can also easily use guest checkout. I do want to make an important point here. If a patron utilizes guest checkout and it turns out that they do have an account in your system, accesso links that purchase through the email address, and you still have a consolidated sales in your database. So here's an overview of the new enhancements with accesso ShoWare. The Streamlined checkout is going to pare down to those 5 screens into just one. It's going to be fewer clicks to get all the purchase steps completed. There's going to be bold visual cues that guide the process, and automated error detection so mistakes or typos can easily be identified and fixed. Guest checkout utilizes essentially the same flow as Streamlined checkout, but also allows the patron to skip the login or register functions and enter their purchase details like email, name, and address info right at the checkout screen. So we're going to go take a look and see how that works. We are going to buy some tickets for Lion King. Joe, this is where you can start singing Hakuna Matata if you want for me. A little background. I'm going to put a couple of tickets in my basket.
I'll spare everyone. Thank you.
Will ya? The magic is going to happen once we get these tickets into the cart. So here we have a couple of tickets in our cart. I'm going to go ahead and hit the proceed to checkout. And here we are seeing a beautiful new gate page. With this, you'll notice we get it all. We get returning customers that can go ahead and log into an existing account. We have new users who can create an account or log in with Facebook. And we also have the new guest checkout option as well. This first time I'm going to go ahead and log in so I can contrast that later with the guest checkout. Let me log in here with my existing account. And now you're seeing the single page guest checkout. You've got a 1, 2, 3 stepped process that walks you through the checkout. You've got starting with a secure icon here at the top. That was one of our top 5 reasons. This tells the patron this is a secure page. You've got step 1, which is your delivery method, and you've got all these beautiful visual icons along with the text. And if I go ahead and choose mobile delivery, I now have a check mark that tells me that is finished, and it moves me on to the next step. Here in step 2, we have our payment, and this is where if you're utilizing that gift card with Value Tech, you can integrate that into the process and give your patrons an additional option, or go ahead and use standard credit card entry. We've got some very cool features here that we've employed in relation to that acceptance, and that is as soon as I start typing in a number here, if I start plugging in a American Express card number, you can see that it triggers an American Express icon, and I can go ahead and enter just the right amount of digits for American Express, and then it stops me at that point. I can't enter more digits than necessary. Same with the CVV code for American Express, it's 4 digits, but for most others it's only 3, so it only allows you to enter as many digits as necessary. Again, if I put in a Visa card, I've got that showing up as a Visa card, and if I try and put something in that we don't accept, let's try this number, that happens to be a MasterCard, which in this scenario we don't accept, so you have that error detection right away that we don't accept this type of card, and we can move on. So let's get a card number in there that we do accept. We'll do I'll use my handy dandy fake credit card here. And you'll also see that at this point I can change my address if I want to. I can update that and go ahead and use this payment. And again, we get a check mark at the payment screen telling me that this step is now complete. Now I'm moving on to step 3, which is completing my order. And if you're utilizing ticket insurance, this is going to show up here. If you're employing Roundup donation like I'm showing, this is going to show up here. If you're employing the How Did You Hear About Us marketing collection, that's going to show up here as well. I want to point out as well that the shopping cart here persists throughout the sale process and makes the adjustments. So if I go ahead and round up another $5, you can see that that changes over here on the right-hand side, and that's going to persist throughout the process. So we can go ahead and accept our terms of use, and again, big green buttons move us through the process. So to quickly recap, we've got a single page display, we've got the prominent security icon, we've got the simple 1, 2, 3 stepped process, we've got the automated error detection, we support multi-payment types, ticket insurance, Roundup donation, marketing collections. You'd lose nothing in functionality from our current iteration. You just gain the simplicity and efficiency of the checkout process. So let's go ahead and hit place order. And you get a nice new confirmation screen as well. So again, there are the ability to customize this final screen. You can have it shared on Facebook or tweeted out. You've got your order number there. You can review your order details, etc. So now I want to contrast that with guest checkout. So we're going to pop over to this demo screen. I'll go ahead and grab some tickets for a chorus line. You know any chorus line tunes, Joe? One singular sensation?
My company has done the show before, but again, I will spare everyone show tunes. Thank you.
On this version, I also want to cover one of the other aspects that we talk about, which was all-in pricing. So here on this version, we are using all-in pricing, and even from the ticket selection, in both GA or reserved seat maps, the pricing is all in. So I can see here at this seat map, I'm seeing all in prices. When I pop into a screen to choose my seats, that's also going to be showing all in pricing. Let me grab a couple of seats here. So I've got these tickets in the basket. I've mentally committed to this $50.75 price. I can always, as a patron, show the fees if I need to see some detail, and I'm seeing that that's actually a $45 ticket with a $5.75 convenience fee. But in the standard flow, all-in pricing is really just going to have you mentally commit to that price right off the top. It doesn't show any additional fees, no last-minute costs, and no reason to sort of abandon that purchase. So we'll go ahead and hit checkout. And here you're going to have a very similar flow to what we just saw, but at this point it's going to be guest checkout. So let me choose my delivery method, and I'll choose my payment method. And you'll see here with guest checkout, I'm just being asked now to input my email address. And we have a second confirmation box. Name, last name. Oops. And we'll use this payment. I'm still going to get my roundup, my ticket insurance, any of the other things that we had available. I can update my address as well. And then I'm going to hit my terms of use and place my order. Oh, I thought I had to hit the terms of use. There we go. Place the order. Now here at this confirmation screen, because this is guest checkout and because this email address has not existed in the system previously, I'm seeing a little bit of a different confirmation screen. I have the opportunity to create an account, log in with Facebook. I can still do the Facebook and Twitter share, but this confirmation screen is now encouraging me to go ahead and create an account. I'm going to do that. Let's go ahead and create an account. And what it's going to do is it's going to send an email to my address that I entered and ask me to go ahead and create a password for this account. So let's do that. That sends an email to me. I also wanted to show you when we get into the back end how this works on a, let me grab my email here. Email, please. There we go. Password setup. So here it takes me to a link to go ahead and create a password. And we'll put in a password here, double entry to confirm. Of course I'd like to join the mailing list, and we hit submit. Now it'll take me back to my account page. I can see my recent orders, which was just the order that I placed. I do want to show you this as well. Let me grab this order number, and we'll take a look at that in the back end. If I come into ticket management, into orders, and input that order number, it's going to show me this, and it has one little quick change I would just want to show you here, is that it does indicate that it came in as a guest. So there is that change there. Now again, If the email address is already registered in the system, it's going to log this order number under their existing account. We just showed it to you this way so that you could see that there was an opportunity to have them go ahead and create that order after the fact if it had not existed in the system. So you're still able to give that patron the option to create an account. So I want to summarize here. You have all-in pricing that eliminates that sticker shock. You've got guest checkout that eliminates the need to register and provide a password, unless of course you want to after the fact, in which case we've confirmed that. And you've got the email match that consolidates the purchases all under one patron history. Let's pop back to our PowerPoint. Okay, so now we've looked at how the enhanced checkout kind of checks all the boxes on reducing cart abandonment, and that serves to benefit both the buyer and you, the seller. I mean, clearly this is what online buyers expect. They demand having an online ticking buying experience that's easy and straightforward. Keeping it simple ultimately leads to less cart abandonment. It leads to customers that come back to buy again, to giving you more revenue to your organization. And you know, keep in mind your online channel has the highest return on investment, so shifting even 5% of your sales from the offline to the online channel will give you a significant increase in your revenue. The new checkout features still support the data collection of your patron records. It helps you understand the patrons who are historically buying online and letting you make some informed decisions on marketing in that sense. And these new enhanced checkout methods also provide data to us at accesso to understand where and when folks might be dropping out of a purchase, which helps us make more informed decisions about design developments and enhancements to the platform. And that really leads us to our final point, which is increased operational efficiency. Because offering this new enhanced checkout on a completely responsive design platform that works across all browsers and all devices really means less impact on your box office. It's less phone calls to answer, less customer service issues to address, and higher patron satisfaction. So make it easy, make it efficient for everyone. So how do I get it? Well, as a thank you for sitting through this fantastic webinar, we're going to get you into a priority queue. So we'll have Streamlined or guest checkout enabled on your system. Our account managers will have a list of today's attendees, and they'll be reaching out directly to talk with you kind of about best practices and how to get on board with these new features. And as usual, we will only deploy with your approval, and you'll have a chance, as always, to test it in your development site first. So I think with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Joe and Katie. We can open it up for questions, and I thank you very much for your time.
All right, thanks Wendy. Let's see, we do have a couple questions here. The first one is, what does this cost?
Well, that's an easy one. This does not cost anything. All you need to do is talk to your account manager about having it enabled in your system. And you know, I do want to make a point of clarification. We really can support, depending on your business model, 3 different versions of this enhanced checkout. You have a guest-only kind of checkout, which is very well employed by kind of attractions markets and markets where maybe you're not necessarily having a lot of return customers. So you can have a guest-only checkout. You can have a register-only checkout if you prefer that for your business model, where it makes sense to cultivate those patrons and always have them register. And you can have the hybrid that we saw today, which gives them the option to do both, which we do feel is a very good option for most of our client base, to give them a chance to either register or do guest checkout. So it doesn't cost a thing, Katie.
Great. All right, our next question. This person is curious about what the screen looks like when a patron orders a large amount of tickets, say like 8 tickets or something like that. Does the font adjust, or would the screen just scroll?
I think maybe you're talking about on a mobile. Is that what we might be talking about?
I think in the regular, Wendy, but maybe you can show us what it looks like with more than 2 tickets in the basket, and then
Sure.
just pinch the screen, and let's look at the mobile flow at the same time.
Yep. Let me put some of this down so we can see it a little better. Okay, so here is, the site is always fully responsive design, so whether I'm looking at it as if I was on my cell phone or maybe I'm on my tablet, let's go ahead and put some tickets in the basket. And in this case, I will let's grab a bunch of tickets. So you can see it's just going to scroll. It's going to show each of the tickets there, and we can go ahead and proceed to checkout. Let's go ahead and just log in for this one. And in the case of a cell phone where it's smaller like this, you're going to have all of your 1, 2, 3 steps here, and you'll have the card at the bottom. If it's a little bit bigger, like in a tablet flow, you're going to see that card on the right-hand side. Does that answer the question? You're going to see all 8 of those tickets here on the right-hand side card. Certainly, if you have any additional questions that we don't cover in the webinar, please feel free to reach out to the customer service manager to help you as well.
Great, Wendy. They did clarify. They were saying that the right side is what they were asking about.
Yeah, so depending on the display, depending on the device you're using, if the tablet has enough real estate to show the shopping cart, a little bit smaller, it's going to get moved down to the bottom. Actually, that's the top, isn't it? Top and bottom. You know what? My colleagues right now are wondering just how much cold medicine I've taken.
Wendy, go ahead and go full screen on that just so we can show what that right side looks like, and scroll down just a little bit so we can see what it looks like full screen with 8 in the basket.
There you go.
And it always stays one page.
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
That's correct.
Great. So our next question, can we capture the patron's information if they don't already have an email in our system for future mailings if they enter as a guest?
You will have that email address, so absolutely. Yeah, I showed on that order detail that that email address is captured. That creates an account, and that certainly can be pulled for any data mining for future marketing efforts. Yes.
Great. And it looks like our last question, this is actually kind of related. What happens to my patron data? Will this create more duplicate records in the system?
It does not, because if that email address, even if somebody comes in as a guest, but they have an email address in your system, you know, I'd like to show that actually. Let's go ahead and show that. I think it's worthwhile, so let's do that. Because this is an important point. What you don't want is to have duplicate records in your system. So we've got tickets in our basket. We're going to proceed to checkout. Mobile delivery and payment method, and use this payment method and place my order. Collect my... Okay, so in this case, let me copy that. Oops. I'm going to come into the back end here. Let's try that again. That was the wrong one. So that was an order number. So in this case, I've got all of my order information here. And if I come into the patron number, all of my orders are consolidated. Even when I used guest checkout, it's now showing up here. So and we absolutely took this to heart when we created this. If you've got somebody who is already registered in your system with an email address and comes in and uses guest checkout, it's going to match that up with their existing patron record and put that order underneath that patron record. So I feel very confident answering that question that you're not going to get a bunch of duplicate records if they're using the same email address. It's going to recognize that.
Great. And actually, Wendy, we have one last quick question from someone who is interested in possibly using a theme to gather student info.
Great.
It looks like it shows up in the basket now, but how would that be impacted by the new checkout?
So I'm glad you asked that question, and I love themes. I wish more of our customers were using themes. Themes are still going to be supported. What happens is that is going to be implemented before the checkout screen, so it does not happen in the basket for checkout. It happens before. So if you've got a theme enabled, that's just going to get taken care of before they get to the checkout, to the gate screen where they log in. Still supported, absolutely.
Great.
And if you don't know what themes are and you haven't investigated themes, please talk to your customer service manager about that. It's the ability really to gather any additional information along with a ticket purchase. Really quickly, I'll tell you that we've used that in the dinner theater market for patrons to be able to choose their menu, chicken, beef, or fish. We've used it in the live event market where maybe you add a t-shirt along with your ticket and you can get small, medium, or large as an additional. You can use it as a classroom theme, as this client brought up, where if you're having a class, you can collect information about that guest, whether that's maybe their name, their gender, their age, if it's a kid's class, so you can gather any additional information along with that ticket purchase. Themes can handle that for you.
Great.
Nice little plug for themes. I like it.
Yeah. Thanks, Wendy. Thanks for a great demo and some impromptu there as well. And we thank all of our guests, clients, for attending today's webinar. You'll receive an email tomorrow with a link to access the webinar recording. And we'd also like to take the opportunity to invite you to our next webinar in the summer series on August 25th, which will provide an overview of our donations module and an update on a few organizations and their successes. We look forward to sharing this functionality with you on August 25th, and we wish you all a great day. Thank you.